This game is nearly 10 years old, and I have been playing it nearly every single day since late 2020. Well, kinda. As a kid, I did play in 2017, but I had no idea what I was doing, so yeah. But other than that, 5 years is still a really long time to be playing a game, especially on Roblox. I thought the game would have died out by 2024, but surprisingly it didn't. Somehow the game still manages 10,000 or even more daily players, even at pretty obscure times. Jailbreak is genuinely in a pretty good spot right now, and I would call it pretty much finished. The game had its run from 2017 to 2021 in its prime, and there has been so many vehicles and seasons and quite a few new robberies since then. The developers have recently announced Season 33, their final season. For now, although seasons are paused, updates are not, so the game won't really die out anytime soon. They're pausing it so that Azimo can work on other projects, and Bad CC just doesn't have as much time to work on the game anymore. In their latest newsletter on Twitter, X, they announced that they are working on a little something called Server Authority. In their tweet, they call it a magical service, so I'm going to try my best to explain what it actually does. Basically, it's a multiplayer networking model where the server decides the game state, rules, and physics instead of your local Roblox client. So what does that do for us? Well, in current Jailbreak, while lagging, you could say maybe drive down the road in a Volt bike and the client will be like, "Oh, trust me, bro." But the server believes you're somewhere else, likely where you were before you started lagging. So server authority would actually calculate where you are and what should happen. I think that's pretty cool, and I'm interested to see how it'll behave when it drops. They said they've been working on it every single day of July, and they even have working prototypes. Now, more importantly, finally, we are getting an anti-cheat. They say it won't stop every single cheat, but even if it's just auto arresters, I'd be pretty damn happy about it, and maybe even motivated to play this game daily again. Because with campers and hackers, Jailbreak just isn't a very fun experience in public servers, especially with some toxicity, but that's pretty common and has been around for a little while. This could maybe help new and returning players to have a better experience. So, what's next in Season 33? Well, they said a themed safe revamp, which is basically the Tier 1 safe, and what they did is basically retire a couple items and add a bunch of new ones. The prices will also drop to just 5,000, which is pretty nice, and not gonna lie, some of the new items look pretty cool. Now, Season 33, from what I understand, is a prehistoric theme season, which is honestly pretty cool judging from what I've seen on Reddit. They've also been nominated for Best Classic Game in RIA 26, so I'd love to see them win. Okay guys, Future Jib here, and I was supposed to post this like last week, but I'm glad I waited because there's a really exciting update, especially for mobile players, like on tablets or phones. UI customization. So what does that mean? Well, take a look. Yeah. Needless to say, that update is straight up generational, bro. Another huge win for Jailbreak and mobile players. Alright, back to the video. So overall, is it time to move on from Jailbreak? I would honestly say maybe. It's hard to deliver a strong yes. All of us, or at least the majority of us, are now in high school, graduating or starting college. Some are even pursuing their careers. I'm 16 now, which is basically the start of life. It's kind of weird to think that I was 7 when this game came out, and back then I never imagined that I'd still be playing it nearly a decade later. I don't think I'd be able to permanently quit it forever, maybe just play a lot less. Even though I'd still love to be able to own everything obtainable in the game someday. Maybe it's time to move on, or maybe not completely. Either way, Jailbreak has been a big part of my childhood and will always have a special place in my heart.